I'm going to share with you 4 high income value skills that I discovered that literally took me from an absolute nobody to making over $30 million before I turned 30 years old. Now I'm in my 30s, I want to share the valuable lessons. So if you're ready, let's get straight into it. One of my recent clients was complaining to me how he's not getting enough clients. And as I started digging in, as I started talking to him, I quickly realized he's not doing the things that's required for him to grow the business. And something that I learned many years ago from Brian Tracy, right? I was starting out in the industry like most people. I was trying so many different things, trying to crack my business, trying to get clients, trying to get cash flow, all of this stuff. And I remember very clearly Brian Tracy saying something along the lines of, you already know what you need to do. And if you just do those things, those hard things, everything gets easier, okay? Which basically means if you do the things that you know you need to do, maybe you need to make more videos, maybe you need to do more webinars, maybe you need to have more quality conversations with better prospects, maybe you need to be advertising more so that people are coming to you instead of you're chasing people, you're going to people, right? And this story stuck with me because anytime I find myself, I'm not getting the results in my own business, right? Or when I'm coaching a client, I'll ask myself, what are the things that I know I need to be doing that I'm not doing? And I'll make a list, and usually it's like 3 or 4 things. Maybe it's not producing enough webinars. Maybe it's not tweaking my offers. Maybe it's not making my messaging more clear. Whatever the case is. And then I'll go and attack those things. That's the key that you have to realize. So why is it that this simple key gets overlooked? This simple key gets ignored? And it destroys businesses. It destroys your ability to generate cash flow. Why? Why? Well, I really believe that there's a few underlying things that is not common for most business owners. Because I truly believe that if you start to implement these, not only is your business going to succeed, but you're going to have more time off. You're going to actually be able to build your business whilst having a life without sacrificing your soul. So number 1 thing, mastering value creation. Look, all business is being able to solve problems for a profit. That's it. Too many people get it confused. They think, oh, if I do enough TikTok videos, if I start posting on Instagram, if I start posting motivational messages, somehow you're going to get clients. No, it doesn't work like that. What you have to understand, and you have to remind yourself, you as a business owner, you will only get paid if you are solving people's problems. The more problems that you solve, the more money that you're going to make. So you have to become a massive value creator. However you do this, maybe through making videos, webinars, content posts, educating your ideal prospects, that's what's going to carry the value. So anytime you find yourself, hey, why am I not making enough money? Really? It's because you're not solving enough people's problems. So how do you solve more people's problems? You have to get clear on what is your offer. What are you selling to the market? Who's ready to buy from you? Who's the ideal target market? Who's the person that you don't want to work with? Where are these people hanging out? So you want to identify the who, you want to identify where they're hanging out, and then you want to identify very clearly how you can help them. And what I found over the last 15 years of running my own business is multiple millions of dollars, multiple tens of millions of dollars in some businesses is very clear. You want to attract the highest quality lead in all of your ventures. In whatever business you have, you want to ask yourself, hey, what's the highest quality customer I can get? So for example, on the plane, they'll usually have how many types of seats? 3 different types of seats. They'll have a business or first class, they'll have a premium economy, then they'll have an economy flight. Okay, why does the airline give you 3 options? Because they know there's a group of people that will just come in and take the first or business class regardless of the price. They just want the comfort, they want the food that you get. I was going to say the fancy food, it's not always fancy, especially if you're flying to America. Okay, no offense Americans, but if you compare to Emirates or Qatar Airways versus what you get in America, it's night and day difference. But there's always going to be a group of people, no matter what you offer them, they always want the premium. Same thing, people that want to buy a watch. You can buy a watch for $100. You can buy one for $10,000. You can even buy a watch for $100,000. So the reason why this exists is because there's different types of buyers. Okay, and when you're offering your products and services, just ask yourself, do you want to sell to the person that's asking you for a discount? Or do you want to work with the person that's going to just say, okay, send me the payment details via sent, right? You always want to have the second person, the highest quality buyer. So you want to get really good in your marketing, in your business, at one, identifying. You're only going to get paid if you're solving people's problems. But then the question is, okay, whose problems are you supposed to solve? Well, there's poor people and then there's rich people, maybe middle class as well, right? But what you want to do is focus on the rich people. If you want to get rich quickly, without sounding too cheesy, the easiest way to get rich is to serve rich people, is to find problems that rich people have and they have money to pay you. One of the types of people that are rich, that have money to spend, is basically business owners. Business owners typically allocate a budget. Like, for example, I'll allocate as much as $25,000 to $50,000 per week, so around 6 figures a month, for my advertising budget. On one of my credit cards, I can spend, say, 60 grand. Another few, I can spend a bunch more. But all in all, I can allocate at least $100,000 per month in growing my businesses, right? Running advertisements, paying Facebook ads, Google ads, YouTube, Instagram, whatever the case is. So I know each month I'll have, 50K to 100K that I'm ready to spend on ads, on advertising. So I would be a person, if you had a great service, you could go and find me and you could offer me that service. Does that make sense? And so there are basically thousands and thousands of people that you can do this for. If you see in America, all over the world, just go to Google and type in how many business owners live in your specific country and you'll find out. And then you realize, hey, you know what? Instead of me trying to sell to every Tom, Dick and Harry, what if I started selling to other business owners, whatever your service is? And then even if you don't have a B2B service, if it's a B2C to a consumer service, just ask yourself, out of this bracket of consumers, who would be the ideal person that has the most amount of liquid money that can invest? And when you do competition analysis in your own market, where you're doing market research, you can find out who's offering the most premium services, right? So when I come up with services, I literally go through 5 or 10 of my competitors. I'll go through Amazon, I'll find the best-selling books on specific topics. I'll go to Google and I'll just type in XYZ keyword and I'll see the Google search results and I'll see who's paying for those keywords. And I'm like, okay, let me go and check out their offers, their funnels, their websites. Let me see how much they're charging for their prices. And one of the things I do is I ask myself, I compile people's offers and I say, okay, if I was going to serve this customer, what's missing from this picture? Like, when I look at 5 different offers in my marketplace, right? And you can do this with your own business. Compare 5 people that are doing something similar or something better than what you're doing right now, right? And they've got bigger numbers, they've got a bigger office. And then just ask yourself, what's missing from this picture? And then reverse engineer, okay, if this is what's missing from this picture, what do I have to do to stand out from the crowd? What do I have to do to make my offer pop? How do I make my offer much more irresistible, right? And to make your offer irresistible, here's a checklist of 20 things that you can tweak. And you can tweak any of these 20 things that will basically help you optimize your offer. So I've launched over 50 products and services online, and I realized you don't need that many. You just need maybe 3 to 5 at most. But start off with one if you're not making at least $1 million a year. And every time I go through an offer, how I make it irresistible, how I make it pop off, is I just follow this checklist. So there's 20 things that you can tweak in your offer. I'll also include a link down below this video on a Google Doc. There's nothing to buy here, just go and check it out. And then you can download the doc and then it will walk you through. Hey, quick little reminder, if you're enjoying this video and maybe you're not at the 6-figure or the 7-figure or the 8-figure level yet, you want to just get to making your first $10,000, $20,000, even $30,000 a month as an expert, as a coach, as a consultant, you want to turn your expertise into an online empire where you can get paid
based on selling courses, on coaching programs, on consulting offers to a high ticket audience. What does that mean? It basically means you want to be able to translate whatever you have in your head into selling for high priced products and services online. I'm hosting a 3-day summit, a virtual workshop where you and I are going to be able to talk. I'm going to walk you through the steps that's needed to make an extra $10,000 to $30,000 per month. Even if you're starting from scratch, you don't have an offer yet, you're not famous, or you don't have people that know, like, and trust you just yet. If you'd like to learn more, go ahead to 3daysummit.com or click the link in the description below. Join us for the workshop. I'll speak to you then.
By the way, I'm also testing this new format. Me just sitting in front of a camera, just keeping it real, raw, very little editing, and just giving you as much value as possible. All I ask you is that you share this video with someone that you think is going to help, and comment and like, so that way I know, hey, this is stuff that you want to learn. If you want to learn more of this stuff, then I'm going to produce more of these videos. If you don't like it, then I'm not going to make them, right? So let me know in the comment section below. Back to the video. So once you have this, right, like you have an offer, you have something to present, you clearly identify who to present to, how much you want to charge, where they're hanging out, where is your ideal customers, then you want to run a little test. Instead of spending months and years coming up with a product, you want to create a minimum viable product. So this is like the most basic version of your product. And you could even just create an outline on Google Doc and send it to 5, 10, 20 people that are in your network, right? That are following you right now on social media, that you've worked with in the past. And literally just say, hey, I'm thinking of putting this offer together, and I wanted your feedback. Hey, if I charged $5,000 for this, is this something that you would be interested in? Just let me know. I'm doing some market research. I'm sending it out to 20 people. I'm sending it out to 50 people. And I'm just going to work with 5 people. Let me know if this is something that you would be open for learning about, right? And by the way, if you'd like that, then book a call with me, right? And then include your calendar link or include your phone number where they can WhatsApp you or text you. Does that make sense? So that's the number one skill that I would work on if I wanted to make $1 million in my 20s, wherever the case is. And I remember many years ago, I used to have this mentor of mine who had generated well over multiple 9 figures, so hundreds of millions of dollars. And he was mentoring me for around 5 years when I was around 25 to 30 years old. And almost every single day we would talk to each other, and he was probably one of my greatest business mentors that I had. And he was a very young guy, and I remember he would always hammer in the fact that the most valuable skill that you can learn is offer creation. Being able to create offers on demand, being able to find problems in the marketplace and then boom, coming up with offers. So a challenge that I would give to you, if you're watching this and you're ready for a challenge, is each month try to come up with just one new idea, one new offer, right? Even if you never launch it, just outline it. Think to yourself, hey, if I wanted to come up with an offer, who would be this ideal client? What would I charge? Okay, cool. Let me just come up with it. And as you get good at this, as you go through the checklist that I'm including below, as you start to hone in, here's how I can essentially find people that have a problem. Here's how I can create an offer. And here's how I can provide them the product for a profit, right? Here's how I can serve them. They solve their problem, right? That's all an offer is. This is like one-on-one value creation. Being able to identify pain points in your marketplace and then offering them the service. And just always remember, it's always around you, right? Like this is not some magical skill that you need to go to school with. If you are hungry right now, you have a problem, right? What do? You can order DoorDash or Uber Eats or whatever. You can go to a restaurant. They are going to solve your problem in exchange for money, right? In exchange, they give you food, you give them money. So this is happening all around us. But sometimes when we're starting out or when we're growing up, the whole selling stuff or value creation, you might be thinking about who am I to give value, or who am I to come up with these offers, or who's going to buy from me, and this whole idea of it has to be perfect, this gets in the way. So I would challenge you to, and I would say, focus on making progress, not being perfect. That's a mantra that I repeat to myself over and over again. So number one is value creation. Number two is the art of delegation. Okay, you have to understand, doesn't matter how much money you make right now, you have a dollar per hour value on your time. You can work out how much you made in the last 30 days, and then you can work out, okay, if I worked 40 hours, if I worked 20 hours, if I worked 10 hours, maybe you worked 100 hours. There is a dollar per hour value attached to the work that you produce. And so then you have to ask yourself, okay, did I just get paid $15 an hour, or did I get paid $500 an hour? Or did I get paid, for whatever work you did? Maybe you got paid thousands of dollars per hour. Whatever the case is, right? Whether it's $15 or $500 or $5,000, you want to identify, hey, if I do more of this, do I make more? That's one. Number two, what can I delegate from what I'm doing right now? If you're spending time cleaning your house as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, you already know this, but I'm going to remind you. If you're doing your laundry, if you're doing all of your cooking, and listen, if it's fine if you love cooking and all of this stuff, but I'll just be very frank. In my 20s, I don't think I cooked a single meal. I mean, now I'm married, my wife still makes mistakes. So every now and then I make eggs, but that's as far as I go. In my 20s, I don't remember ever cooking. Why? Because I learned this. It's like a magical hack. The people that get it, they get it. If you don't get it, then it's hard for you to wrap your head around. So why should I hire a cleaner and pay them $20 an hour? Why should I hire someone to cook food for me? But what you're not understanding is the amount of money that you can make as to compare to you can save. So for example, dancers, I realize, hey, there's no steaks ready and there's no steaks that is defrosted. Okay, well, I can spend half an hour, I will have to defrost it, and then let's just say it will take me half an hour to make it, okay? Or I could just order it, and someone else with their labor, they can bring it to me, ready for me to eat. I eat, it doesn't take me even 5 minutes to clean and pack up, right? I've just saved myself, say, half an hour, maybe even an hour. Well, how much is my time worth for an hour? Well, let's just say today I made, between my businesses, let's just say on average $20,000, $25,000 maybe, okay? So let's say I worked 5 hours. So each of my hour is now worth $5,000 an hour. So why would I spend an entire hour cooking and then cleaning? It makes no sense. So this was a hack that I discovered over 15 years ago when I was starting off as an entrepreneur. And my first ever person that I hired was not even for sales and marketing. It was literally an assistant. And I started paying them whatever I could, a few $100 a month. And then it went up to like $1,000 a month. Then I think it went up to like $2,000 or $3,000 a month. And that was when I was around 21, 22 years old. Okay. Now I'm 35. Till now, I have never gone without my own personal assistant. Whether it's for my own personal home, my business, at one time when I was really scaling, I was making about $1 million a month in one of my live events business. I was hosting events all over the world. At one point I had 3 assistants. I can't even remember what they did, but they were great. And they were scattered all over the world. One in UK, one in South Africa, one from the Philippines. And they were amazing. Okay, they were amazing. I would go to an event. I would have someone iron my clothes. I would have someone bring me coffee. I would have someone get everything and anything that I needed done. So your success as an entrepreneur will largely come from how fast do you go from idea to execution, idea to implementation, idea to putting things out, right? From your head into the world, right? So if that's the case, doesn't it make sense that you go and delegate as much as you can so you can focus on your genius zone? Doesn't it make sense that you can focus on the highest leverage activities and then delegate the rest? So this is what I became a master at in my 20s. And I understood, heck, if I can get other people to do it, whilst I save my time, I save my energy, I save my mental capacity, then I can work on the higher leverage things. Now, if you're just starting out and you're like, hey, I want to be a CEO, I want to hire people so they can do everything, and you don't have much money, well, then you haven't earned the right? So you don't get too ahead of yourself. If you're young and you're watching this, yeah, build it out in phases. So maybe at $5,000 or $10,000 a month, you can get your first assistant. At $50,000 a month, you can get a high-level executive assistant. When you're making $100,000 a month, then you can go and get, a CEO, COO, or whatever other C title professional to come and help you in your business. So why is delegation important? It frees you so that you can focus on your genius zone. Where entrepreneurs go wrong is when they try to juggle every single thing themselves. Okay, I don't know about you, but I have to follow my religion. I pray 5 times a day. I have a wife. I like to travel around the world. I like spending time with my family. I come from a big family, God bless them. I don't want to be married to my business like most entrepreneurs, right? I do believe that for me anyway, now in my life, I have to have more balance. In my 20s, I didn't have much balance. I sacrificed almost everything. Health, family, friends, whatever. Was that a good decision? Maybe we talk about it in another video. Let me know in the comments, by the way. Are you one of those people? Do you believe in work-life balance? When I look back, I do know I sacrificed a lot of things, but it also got me ahead of the majority of people. I mean, I was with someone that I grew up with probably a few months ago, and he's like similar age to me, maybe 35 or so, and he was telling me right now he's like ready to take action. He's like ready to, start a business. He's like ready to come outside his comfort zone. And I'm looking at him. I didn't say this to him, but I'm looking at him thinking, dude, like what the heck? I mean, like that's how I was thinking when I was like 19, 20 years old. And by the time I was 23 years old, I made my first $1 million. Well, one of the principles that I executed on was delegation. Who can I delegate to every single day? When you wake up, instead of checking your inbox and social media, just write down 5 to 10 things that you need to get done, preferably the day before. And then when you write those 5 or 10 things down, ask yourself, what's the 80% of this that I can delegate? And then the next question is, who can I delegate this to? Right? If you can start to develop your thinking in this manner, I promise you're going to have quantum shifts in your business, in your life. This is what took me from zero, buried in debt, broke, literally nobody knowing my name, to building over 1.5 million email subscribers, making over $30 million before I turned 30 years old, traveling the entire globe, living my true, my dream life. And I'm looking back and I'm like, oh yeah, okay, I mastered delegation. So if I was teaching you, number one, you have to learn how to create value in the marketplace. You have to learn how to get attention, then convert that attention into customers. Number two, you have to be able to delegate so that you can have some free time to think through things, reflect on what's working, what's not working, right? So here's 5 quick roles that you can think about hiring. Maybe you're already in that space now, or maybe you're going to plan to. But if you start to project, hey, you're going to grow, and for you to grow, you need to have the right people that's going to help you grow. Trust me, I have seen myself, my friends, grow large businesses. Let's just say $10 million to $50 million and beyond. And then I have seen some other friends that have been stuck at maybe 6 figures or 7 figures for years. The number one difference, easy, teams. Okay, I have a couple of friends, they're in the high 6, maybe 7-figure range, but they've never built teams. And then the guys that have built multiple 7, multiple 8-figure businesses, the one commonality is they have teams. So now that you know you have to build a team, because you're essentially buying more man hours, right? Like today, I have my video guy, then I have 3 different people on my team that can do my social media or whatever, right? What I'm doing is I'm buying time. This month that we're going into, my plan is to hire probably 3 or 4 different marketing people for one of my businesses. Well, what am I doing when I'm hiring 3 to 4 new people? Well, if they work 40 hours a week, 4 times 4 is 160 hours. Well, I'm buying 160 hours a week. Do you understand what that means? I can tell them, hey, this is the stuff that I want to get done, and it will be done because I'm able to buy their time. So number one person that you want to hire is a admin assistant or an executive assistant, someone that can help you remove all the nitty-gritty stuff, checking your emails, responding to stuff, scheduling podcasts, uploading videos, transcribing things, designing things. These are low leverage activities that you can get someone to do it 10 15 bucks an hour, 1500 bucks a month. The more someone is more skilled, the more someone has results and they can produce results for you, they're going to get paid more. So in the beginning, you want to have someone that you can get and they can grow with you. Or if you're already someone who's doing well, you gotta get it. I mean, sometimes I meet some of my even very successful friends, and when I find out that they don't have an assistant, and I'm like, are you freaking kidding me? Some of these guys, let's just say they're making $500K a month, $1 million a month. And some of these guys, you know them. Some of them I've actually done podcasts with, right? And then they don't have a personal assistant. So they'll do the most basic low leverage activity to the highest level leverage activity. And I'm like, how does this make any sense whatsoever? It doesn't. So don't do that, okay? Number two is product fulfillment, right? So wherever you're selling, one of the biggest things that gets people stuck is that they think that they have to deliver all aspects of the work, right? This is why most consultants, coaches, course creators, experts, they're just always burnt out. Why? Because they're selling, then they try to do delivery and fulfillment, and then they're literally just capped out. And all they do is that they are in one giant circle of just like chasing their tail. So they sell, then they deliver, and then they get stuck on that delivery because there's so many different clients that they get, and everyone has unique problems, and they have to create unique solutions. And then you just get stuck, okay? I figured out a long time ago that if I can help create the product, but then if I can outsource the product fulfillment, if I can outsource the customer service, if I can outsource my finance, my legal, every single department except for sales and marketing, then I can focus on getting cash, hiring talent, right? And then everything else takes care of itself. So you have to get help when it comes to product delivery. It will give you so much more confidence in your life if you have someone that after you sell, they get passed on. So let's just say last week I got, say, 5 customers and they maybe bought one of my packages, okay? For most people watching this, my packages and my business is not gonna necessarily be for you, and that's okay. I'm not using these videos to sell. But here's the thing. Let's say 5 of my customers, they paid $30,000 each, okay? As soon as they paid, now they go to my delivery team, my product fulfillment team. My product fulfillment team's responsibility is to deliver to those customers. They take over. I'll probably have one group call once a week with those clients, and that's it. I am not delivering their services. I'm not checking up on them. I'm not micromanaging them. I have a team that takes care of product fulfillment. So now I can focus on coming up with new innovative marketing campaigns, hiring better talent. I can take time off to think things through. I can come up with new angles, new hooks, new messaging, new ads. Does that make sense? Number 3 is marketing. Listen, without marketing, you're not getting attention. Without marketing, you're not getting attention and you're not getting customers. So marketing is the function that gets you customers, that gets you interested, prospects and leads, going from strangers into sales. This is the most important aspect. You can have the best product in the world, but if no one knows about it, then no one's gonna buy from you, okay? And then number 4 is sales. So this is where appointment setters, closers, commission-only remote teams, they can come in. When I was scaling my businesses and I was running my live events, we had probably around 20 to 30 people on the sales team. So we would have setters, appointment closers. We would have event staff salespeople. We would have stage sellers. We would have people that would do back-end sales on the phones, back-end sales in person. And one of the best things was when you have a commission-only remote salesperson, you don't have to worry about no office. You don't have to worry about them doing the bare minimum, because if they don't go out and get sales and close deals, then they don't get paid. And so one of the best things I discovered early on is hiring commission-only sales reps. Okay, it transformed my business almost overnight. I went from maybe making a few $100,000 a year. Literally the next year I made $1 million when I was 23, and then by the time I was 25, 26, I made my first $10 million. And then I made a few mistakes. Then I said, what if I was to do this again? What would I need to put in? Oh, I needed this sales team, this marketing, this assistant. And then I did it again. And in a span of just 3 years, I generated a staggering $20 million. By the way, those are 8-figure awards. That's what they represent. $20 million in just 3 years. And it was enough for me to get rich once and for all. So, and then the last person that you want to have on your team is like a board of advisors / leadership team. This is where, you are really hiring expert help, not just to grow your business, but to maintain it so that you can stay away from trouble, so that you can have compliance marketing, so that you can have someone that can also mentor you. So for example, in my leadership team, I have some of my, board of advisors, and they'll tell me, okay, this is the offer that you would want to tweak. This is how you would tap into a new market. Here's a joint venture partner that you can work with. Here's how to do integration marketing, XYZ. Does that make sense? So delegation has been the absolute key in scaling my businesses and building my businesses without sacrificing my life. Number 3, high value skill that you want to master in your 20s and 30s and for the rest of your life is literally leadership skills. This is one area that I know I messed up on in my 20s. I was very direct, very brash. I was like, this young backpack millionaire CEO, had a team of like 55 people, and my leadership style was just pure sucky. It was bad. I made bad mistakes. I remember like firing people just by sending emails without having a phone call or without doing any progress reviews. I had no idea what I was doing. One day I'm broke. A few years later, I'm like making $500K, $1 million a month, right? And it wasn't like 1 or 2 months. It was like every single month, $500,000, $600,000, $700,000 a month, every single month, year after year after year, right? And suddenly I'm like, wow, there's like 50 people I'm in charge of now, and I have like $500,000 a month in, let's just say, payroll. And I'm like, this is ridiculous. Like, I'm spending hundreds of thousands on ads, hundreds of thousands of dollars on, my team members, right? And I'm like, what the heck is going on? So I learned as I was growing, if you don't have good leadership skills, some of your best people will leave. If you have good leadership skills, you can now empower people to become leaders in the business. This is one of the big mistakes I made in my 20s, which was because I didn't have the leadership skills. So when people would come in onto my team, I wouldn't necessarily empower them to become their own leader. So A players, they want to be leaders, right? You won't hold on to an A player. You won't hold on to your best staff if you don't develop leadership skills. And this is a big lesson that I learned, because so many people that I had that were super talented, that were part of my team, they left my team because my leadership skills sucked, right? And this was like a rude awakening for me. I was like, oh my gosh, like, I didn't know this. Okay, so here's a few key things that you want to remember. You want to focus on basically outcomes. So when you're giving a task to your staff members, instead of saying, oh, do this task, paint a picture, paint a vision of where you're going and why it's important. So I learned, wow, I have to actually learn how to communicate with my team. So for example, Mikey, who does my videos, instead of saying, hey Mikey, we're going to now just make this video for the sake of this video, which maybe is something I would do in the past, and I'd say, hey Mikey, I want to create as much value as possible, and here's the reason why. In 1 to 3 years time, I want to grow my YouTube channel to 500,000 subscribers. The reason why that's important is because it complements all the 5 other different businesses and programs and services and products that I'm building. And so if we don't have that, then those businesses are going to suffer. Now he sees the bigger picture. Now he gets, oh, here's why my job is important. Hey, if we make videos like this and I hold nothing back, no gatekeeping whatsoever, and I just give it all away for free, which is what my plan is here, as I'm going through this, I'm like, I have to now explain to my team, oh, I want to give away all the best stuff that I've learned. Why? Because I've made a lot of mistakes. I've made tens of millions of dollars, pounds, and I've also lost millions of dollars in bad investments, bad mistakes, bad coaches. It would be very valuable. I wish I had someone like this when I was starting out. Oh my gosh, like if I was 21 and I had access to this kind of information, holy smokes, I don't know where I would be today, right? So I believe that it's a duty, it's a service that I can do. Now my team is aligned. Do you see? Instead of just saying, hey, go and get this done for me, which was my old leadership style, to my new leadership style, hey, we want to achieve this, and here's why this is important, and here's why I need my team to rally around this mission, this vision. Okay, these are the values that we want to uphold. Okay, so does that make sense? Is this valuable stuff? Okay, so that's one. Number two, you got to have, when it comes to your own leadership and your team, you got to measure. Whatever you measure matters. Whatever you measure and you report, it grows exponentially. This is something that I learned. What gets measured gets managed, and what gets measured gets managed and gets reported grows exponentially. And so this was just a mantra that I would always have in my head. I would be like, every single day I have to measure every single aspect. Okay, how much am I spending on traffic? How much is each lead costing me? How many conversations is my sales team having? You know, are they having 20 calls a day, or are they having 30 calls a day? How can I get to 100 booked calls a day for my companies? How can I have the KPIs? How can I reduce the cost per lead? How can I do all of these things? And when you start operating from a place of KPIs and numbers and data, then you're not running your business on just pure emotions. When I speak to someone and I ask them, hey, how's business in a coaching environment? And let's just say, they say, oh, your business is good. I can immediately tell how their business is doing. The successful person is going to say, oh yeah, we've spent $200,000 this month on ads. We've made back a 4X. Here's our cost per lead, blah, blah, blah. The other person will be like, oh yeah, business is fine. Oh yeah, I'm struggling. But they won't get specific. And so you want to be very, very specific. And it starts with measuring by numbers, okay? Measuring all of your numbers. Put it on a spreadsheet when you're starting out. Then you can use fancy software. For years, we just used Google Sheets, okay? Actually, we still use those things. We have a bunch of fancy software like Hyros and whatever, but we still use Google Sheets. Another aspect of leadership is being able to coach not just yourself and your customers because you get paid, but coaching your team members. The ultimate goal of a team is to build a group of leaders so that they can truly run their business even when you're not there, right? That's where you get massive amounts of freedom. Next, number 4, high value skill that you want to learn that I discovered in my 20s that helped me make tens of millions of dollars was literally brand development. Not just coming up with fancy logos and stuff, but creating a movement around a product, right? Like I had my Wealth Academy live events and I had this brand identity of the Backpack Millionaire. So I would be the Backpack Millionaire, the author, young multimillionaire, goes from zero to becoming wealthy, and now he's traveling around the world hosting these Wealth Academy live events to help people quit the 9-to-5 job, start their own quiet revolution of working for themselves. This was way before the pandemic, right? This was before working from home was even cool. Right now everyone works from home, but this was the movement that I was pushing with my team. And there was a few things that I was doing, and I'm going to share this with you right now. So most people I found, they just don't know how to build a brand. So I'm just going to share with you a handful of things. Brand is about reach and reputation. Here's how to increase your brand and reputation. One is paid traffic. Paid traffic, spending money to have ads advertising you, your products and services. This gets you massive amounts of reach. Just recently, we spent like $3,000 and got like 1 million impressions just on one campaign, just on Instagram. Okay, and I have like campaigns running left, right, center on all the different platforms that you can imagine. So that's paid traffic. Organic. Organic is creating free, valuable content like this. This is an example of a YouTube video or a short or a reel that we're posting that serves my ideal market, which is business owners. That's who I want to serve, right? Number 3 is being able to master cold traffic. So this is reaching out to people that you don't know yet, You're building a relationship with them, messaging them. You could do cold emails. I mean, one of the biggest sales I've ever made in my life was selling a single domain name for $1.3 million. And guess what? That was actually to Russell Brunson. And how did I get in touch with him? It was cold email, right? Number 4 is basically partners, having JV, joint venture partners, having people that can promote your products for a commission, okay? I've done this over the years, over the last 10 plus years. It's one of the most profitable things you can do. Literally find someone that has your audience or you have their audience, come up with a partnership, do some integration marketing, integrate your products and services on their offers, and they can do it on yours. And 5th one is referrals. Literally, as soon as you give someone a great experience, ask them, hey, can you introduce my products and services to 1 to 3 people that can benefit from this? This is one of the most underutilized traffic secrets that all the wealthiest business owners, they have this, right? If you introduce referrals and you start getting 20% of your business, right, from referrals, your profit margins now goes to the next level. Why? Because you're not spending money to get those people in. Those are 5 critical ways that you can use to grow your brand, right? But then just growing your brand isn't enough. What you want to do is you want to get really good at delivery, being world class, becoming someone that has high value, that has high integrity, that has authenticity in all of your work that you do, so that when the clients are coming in, not only are they attracted to your brand and to what you stand for and your story, right? But then now they have a deep connection with you. I have literally clients that have been following me and buying from me for over 10 plus years. Think about it. 10, even 14 years ago, I was placing tiny little ads on the internet. And because people have come in, whether they're buying consulting from us, they're buying coaching programs, they're buying my software programs. I mean, it's like, imagine you doing the work today, and in a year, 5 years, 10 years from now, you're still getting paid. So these were 4 skills that I developed in my 20s that helped me become a multimillionaire in my 20s. And if you want more videos like this, leave me a comment below, subscribe. My mom is here. I gotta go. I'll speak to you in the next video.
By the way, if you just joined us, once a month I do a virtual 3-day workshop on 3daysummit.com. It's all about how to go from one-to-one selling to one-to-many. How do you scale up your business? How do you start installing different sales systems so that people can come to you instead of you chasing them? If you like the idea of that and you want to go deeper with me, 3daysummit.com, click the link in the description, and I'll see you in the next video.